So in the previous video, as you know, we had solved a continuous beam using the stiffness matrix. Okay, so here also we are going to solve this continuous beam using the stiffness matrix. First, let us try to understand what is this continuous beam that is given to you. So we have a continuous beam of three spans, AB, BC and CD. AB is loaded by 50 kilonewton load, concentrated load, which is eccentric at 1 meter from the left support A. Then we have BC span, which is subjected to a UDL of 50 kilonewton per meter. Then we have a span of CD, which is subjected to a concentrated load of 40 kilonewton load at the center. Okay, so as we know, the length of the member AB is 3 meter, BC is 4 meter and CD is 4 meter. Okay, also let us look into the I section. So here the I value, moment of inertia, is 1.5 times of I. Here it is 2I and it is I only. So we have solved the same continuous beam using the Carney's method also. So what we can do is that we can solve this by stiffness method and verify the solutions with the Carney's method that we had solved. Okay, so first let us try to determine what is the kinematic intimacy for this structure. Okay, so as we know, joint A and D are fixed in nature. So because of fixity, there will be no degree of freedom. If there is no degree of freedom, the kinematic intimacy will be 0. Now let us go to internal joints, which are B and C. So B, E and C will have a rotation. So theta B and theta C exists. Okay, so to kinematic intimacy, it means what? We need to assign two coordinates, right? So at joint B, we'll assign first coordinate, and at joint C, I'm assigning the second coordinate. So once you assign the coordinates, next thing what we need to do is that we have to apply the unit rotation at the coordinates. Like for example, my first coordinate is at joint B. There I have to apply the unit rotation, and because of application of unit rotation, I need to find out what is the moment that will get generated. Okay, so as we know, this is the joint B. At joint B, I'm applying the rotation of unit. Then the moments that are created for span BC is 4E into I value is 2I. So 4E into 2I divided by the length of the member BC, which is 4 meter, right? So this is the moment that is created because of unit rotation for span BC. Now going to span BA, so here the I value is 1.5 and length is 3 meter. So this will become 4E into 1.5 I divided by 3. So this completes the forces that are generated at the joint B because of the unit rotation at joint B. Now let us also determine how much is the forces that are developed at the far ends. Okay, so for member BC, at CB, the moment that is generated is 2E into 2 times of I divided by length 4. So 2E 2I divided by 4. Now similarly at AB end, also the moment that is generated is 2E into 1.5 times of I divided by 3. Now this completes the forces that are calculated, or moments that are calculated because of application of unit rotation at the coordinate 1. Okay, now once this is completed, now what we do is we'll go for coordinate 2, which is this coordinate. So at this coordinate we are again applying the unit rotation. So let us first calculate how much is the moment that is created because of application of unit rotation at the second coordinate, right? So in member CD, the moment is 4E into I divided by 4. Okay, so similarly at member CB, so as we know here, the I value is 2 and the length of the member is 4, so it will be 4E into 2I divided by 4. Now similarly at the far ends, BC and DC also, we will calculate how much is the force that is created. Okay, now this completes the rotation that is to be applied, the unit rotation that is to be applied at the second coordinate also. Once we solve the values of stiffness for both the coordinates, next thing what we do is we calculate the stiffness matrix. So to calculate the stiffness matrix, what we do is we go for K11, K12, K21 and K22. So first let us go for K11. What is K11? You need to apply the rotation at the first coordinate and you have to find out what is the force that is created at the first coordinate. So see here, so we have applied the unit rotation at the first coordinate. Because of that, these are the two forces that are created. Now we need to add these two, right? So we are taking the sum of these two, which is 4EI into 1.5 divided by 3 plus of 4E into 2I divided by 4. So this completes the K11. Now you have to go for K21. What is K21? We have applied the unit rotation at the joint B, which is the first coordinate, and we are trying to find out how much is the moment that is created at the second coordinate. So at the second coordinate, the moment that is created is 2e into 2i divided by 4. So I'll write here k11 is over, k21 is over. Similarly, let us go for k12 or k22. What is k22 is? K22 is basically you are applying the unit rotation at the second coordinate and you are finding out how much is the moment that is created because of that. Okay, so we need to add these two to calculate how much is k22. Now k12 will be this value. Okay, now once you solve this, you will get to know how much is your k. So first we calculate the stiffness matrix. So after solving the stiffness matrix, the next point is to solve for force matrix. To solve the force matrix, what we do is we calculate the fixed end moments. So the fixed end moment of MFAB, MFBA, MFBC, MFCB, MFCD and MFDC is been calculated and it is written here. Okay, now where are the coordinates being applied? Coordinate is applied at joint B and joint C. So what I do is that I'll take the sum of fixed end moments at joint B. Okay, the sum of fixed end moment at joint B is minus 17.77 minus of 66.67. okay, so that is what I have written. Now similarly at joint C, which is my second coordinate, here also I have to take the sum of fixed end moment at this joint, which is 66.67 minus of 20. So I have written here. Now as I told you, because these are fixed end moments, we need to apply negative symbol to this matrix, then only it will become force matrix. So minus of this matrix is giving you the force matrix. So we will calculate the force matrix. After determining the force matrix, the next step is to find out the displacements. So what are the two displacements that you are going to calculate here? Theta B and theta C, right? So displacement matrix is theta B and theta C. So let us try to understand how to solve the matrices in the calculator. So I will just explain the procedure of how to solve the matrices. So first let us focus on the matrices that we have. So we have K matrix and we have P matrix. So I hope you have all written down in your notebook. So after writing these two, we can solve for displacement matrix. So we need to solve it in the calculator. So for that, what I do is, now let us go to this calculator. Okay, so in the calculator what you can do is that you can first have to start your mat mode. Like as you can see here, mat is representing that your calculator is in the matrix format. Okay, so shift, then you go for 4 and you will see that this is your matrix. Okay, so this is your place where you will be uploading your matrix values. Okay, I'll show you again. So this is shift, you go for 4 button where mat is written, then you will get to know these are the 3 commands that we have now. Okay, so first command will be called dim. Dim is representing the dimensions, so it means whatever the values that you have in the matrix you can substitute in this. Okay, now second, if you click 2, you can edit the existing matrix that you have. Okay, and clicking third will represent you which matrices that you have. Okay, now I guess this is clear. The first one is to fill the matrix that we have, and the second option represents to edit the matrices. Third option is to get that matrices. Okay, so let me first click for first dim. So in dim we have 3 matrices. So it means what? The 3 number of matrices that can be filled in your calculator. Not more than 3 you can fill in this calculator. Okay, right. So let me first substitute 1. Okay, now when I click 1, I got the mat 1. So mat 1 is representing the first matrices. Okay, so here I am going to substitute my stiffness matrix. So stiffness matrix is 2 by 2 matrix. First let us substitute the value of m and n. So m value is 2, next n value is again 2. Let me substitute both of them. So I got to know what is my mat 11. Okay, so once you get the mat 11 value, what you do is that you substitute the values of mat 11. Mat A11 is representing K11. So what is K11 you had? K11 is 8 by 4 plus 6 by 3, right? So you can see in your notebook, and you can find out what is K11 is. So which means 4 value that I have to substitute here. 4. Next is 1. K12 is 1, and K21 is also 1. Now let me substitute what is my K22. K22 will be 8 by 4 plus 1, which is 3. Okay, now this completes the first matrix. Okay, now you have substituted the stiffness matrix. So after substituting stiffness matrix, you come outside, click AC. Okay, let us substitute the values of force matrix. So to do that, what we do is we go to dim, then we click at dimension, then we go for matrix second. So in that we need to select what is m and l value. 2 by 1 is there. Now let us substitute the values of force matrix. The force matrix will have, first one is 48.9, next is minus 46.67, right? So these are the two values we have. Now we have substituted the stiffness matrix, then we have substituted the force matrix. So let us take the inverse of stiffness matrix and multiply with the product of let us take the product of inverse of stiffness matrix and the force matrix. Okay, let us click on shift, go to mat, then in this time you go for mat, which is 3. Click on 3 and I'll click 1 to get the first mat. So this mat A is representing the stiffness matrix. So let us get the inverse. To get the inverse, you have to click over here. Okay, so we got the inverse of matrix A, which is representing the stiffness inverse of stiffness matrix. Okay, multiply it by, again go to shift 4, then click 3, go for 2. Now you got multiplied by mat B. So here mat inverse of mat A multiplied by mat B is representing the inverse of stiffness matrix and force matrix. Okay, let us click, and you got to know the value of your unknowns, which is EI theta B is 17.58 and EI theta C is minus 21.416. Okay, you try to solve your problems.
Now after multiplying the stiffness and force matrix, you will get to know how much is the unknown values EI theta B and EI theta C. So once you have solved these two, the next step what we do is that we calculate MAB. So how do we calculate MAB, MBA and all the other values? We will use the slope deflection equation. MAB is equals to MFAB plus of 2 EI by L into bracket 2 theta A plus theta B. So as we know, theta A is equal to 0 because at joint A it is fixed. Okay, so now what is left over? MFAB plus of 2 EI theta B divided by L is there, right? Now let us substitute what is MFAB. MFAB is minus 35.55 is there. Okay, now let us substitute the I value. I value for this member is 1.5 times of I. Length of the member is 3 meter. So after substituting all this, let us substitute the value of EI theta B. EI theta B value is 17.58. So you will substitute all of that and you will calculate how much is the moment at AB. So moment at MAB is minus 17.97 kN meter. So you can also verify the solution that you got using the Carney's method also, because we have solved the same problem using the Carney's method also. Okay. Now similarly we can calculate for MBA, where MFBA plus of 4 EI theta B divided by L is there. So substitute the values and find out how much is MBA. Now I am letting you solve the rest of the solutions. Like you can solve for MBC, MCB, MCD and MDC. I only solved for MAB and MBA. You can message me your values or the calculation values that you get in the comment section. Okay, thank you.